Hello everyone. In this little video I'm going to talk about a few odds and ends that need to be taken care of. One, I've had quite a few requests on showing the spray booth in action. I'm going to do that in this series of videos. Second, I'm going to put off working on the Enterprise NX a little bit. I'm not putting it off completely. I am going to work on it here and there. There will be a few updates here and there. The reason I'm putting it off is my paint skills are not where they need to be to paint that thing and do it justice. Let me take that back. I think my paint skills are where they need to be. The paint I'm using is not where it should be. My last 3 models I've built, I've had a lot of problems with paint, and I'm blaming the paint, not my skills, mainly because I will put down a layer of paint, let it sit for 2 or 3 days, put some tape down on top of the paint, then do my overcoat, wait 2 or 3 days, pull the tape off, and it's pulling the base coat off. Yeah, that's not a good thing. So I'm blaming the paint on this, and this is where some of my problems are coming in. So I'm going to switch brands of paint. I've been using Testors paints because they were readily available. But in the last month, we got a local hobby shop here in town. Yay! Made me all sorts of happy because they sell this brand of paint right here. Let's zoom in so everyone knows what I'm talking about here. This is not, I'm not trying to plug one brand over another, but I can get this stuff now readily and easily, whereas in the past all I could get was Tamiya. Not Tamiya, sorry, Testors. Not knocking Testors, it's just that when it's cured for 3 days and I put tape over it and then pull the tape up, it shouldn't come up with the tape. It's not sticking to the surface. One of the models I washed with Comet Cleanser before I painted it. So there's no oils or no mold release on the models. It's something else. I'm blaming the paints. If I'm having the same problem after I've switched brands of paint, then I can blame myself. I know I'm the culprit at that point, and I've got to change up what I'm doing. But when I wash the models before I paint them, and this is happening, and it happened on both the resin and plastic kits, I begin to think it's the paint itself. Sometimes that's a good thing because on my Viper from Battlestar Galactica, it did a wonderful weathering job. I mean, beautiful. I'll insert a photo here. Okay, now, what I'm going to do is, I bought a couple of small, cheap kits, and they're not going to take me much to build up. I may or may not worry about filling up the seam lines on them. Now, I just want to build them, and I want to concentrate on painting them. One of the ones the first one I'm going to start off with is a snap tie kit. It's the Revel SR-71. It is a 110 scale model. I have a 148 scale of this sitting in a closet. It doesn't have decals. That's what's holding me back on it. And this is one of my favorite planes. So when I got this for like $6, I thought it would be worth buying, putting together, and giving a good old test on the paint. So we're going to have a journey of working through this and seeing what I can do with it. Alright, back in a second. Okay, let's open her up and see what we got in the box. Now, I've opened the box already. These were sealed in a plastic bag. They're the 2 halves of the plane. Okay, there's some pretty good detail on here. Let's see if we can zoom in and actually see some of this detail. You can see the detailing on the kit parts. There's some decent panel lines and stuff. I'm going to try to preserve those panel lines. And we have the same on the underside. We can see that it is the same on the underside. The parts fit together fairly well. I've already test fitted them as well as I can with the screw on there. The rest of the parts are in a separate bag right here. There's only one extra sprue of parts if you don't count the clear. So this is not a complicated model. Okay, and half these parts are the base. So there isn't going to be a whole lot to this. I'm going to do what I can with it. But again, this is mainly going to be an exercise in paint. This is not going to be a hard paint job because this plane is mainly black with a little bit of weathering here and there, not much. I've got some pretty good detailed photos of the one in the Smithsonian because I had a really good camera when I went there and took a lot of work, and there is one sprue of clear part. That's pretty much it. When we get inside the box, there are some nice decals, water slide, okay, and the directions seem to be one-page fold-out. Let's back this up a little bit so we can see a little bit better. But it is a one-page fold-out. Again, I'm not expecting to spend more than an hour, maybe two, putting this kit together. This was not about putting the model together. It's about learning how to paint, okay? And learning how to play with a new type of paint. Let's put it that way. Some of you who are watching this are old school with the Tamiya paints. This is a new adventure for me. The airbrush is still fairly new to me. I've been using it mainly for just painting colors on. With a couple of models coming up, I'm going to start learning how to freehand with it. So I'll have some fun. But I want to get all these done, the next 3 or 4 models done, before I get back to the NX Hardcore, so that I get the paint job just right on it. I want it to be beautiful. I have some really good models in my stash that I want to build too. A 1350 Enterprise refit. I have both versions of Battlestar Galactica. I have a bunch of Babylon 5 models, including a Narn heavy cruiser. I have something that just came in the mail a few days ago, a 1/72nd Fine Molds Millennium Falcon. That, I want to make sure I know what the hell I'm doing before I touch that thing, because that thing was not cheap. And after looking at it, it's a huge box, and there are a couple of hundred parts in the box. So that's like a year-long project to build that thing. But I want to get my skills up before I start tackling some of these bigger and better models. I have a couple of Enterprise C's too that I want to do great work on. So you guys get to come along on the journey while I learn how to handle a new type paint, mixing it with the airbrush, painting with it, the whole works. I'm going to be light on the build video here. So I'm going to get on it. See you later. Found my first difficulty with the kit. Windshield, when you put it in, I'm going to go ahead and put it in. It takes a bit of work because it is a snap kit to get it back out. Let's see if we can zoom in and see this thing exactly what's wrong with it. Yeah, you can see it right there. The canopy does not reach the top of the cockpit. It just doesn't. So I'm going to have to do some modification just to get that canopy to fit in. Okay, I expected stuff like this. It is a snap kit, but that could be better. Well, I'm just going to cut the pins off the snap part and then glue it in freehand. I also think about masking it right before I glue it in. I'm going to use masking fluid on this thing. The panel lines are so small in that cockpit that I don't think I have any other choice. In addition to that, I looked at the photos I have from the Smithsonian, and you're masking off almost that whole cockpit. Sorry about going off right. You're masking off almost that entire cockpit. So I'm going to go ahead and get on that. Be back in a minute.